Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Rivers crisis. Wike vows never to make peace with Governor Fubara. In the course of the program, we take our questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me Vazum, the master himself, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju. Good to see you back, BKO. Right, so despite various attempts by the president and other relevant political stakeholders to resolve Rivers' political crisis, Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has ruled out the possibility of settling the rift with Governor Sim Fubara of Rivers State. What do you make of this, Bikil?
For a lot of Nigerian politicians, politics is a zero-sum game. And when your benefactor falls out with you and goes out to attack you frontally, you feel really, really bad. You feel that someone that you've done so much for has turned against you, and is usually at that point difficult, if not impossible, to resolve such a dispute. I do not imagine that anyone will be able to resolve the political dispute between Abdullah Ganduje, national chairman of APC, and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the national leader of the NMPP. Ganduje was deputy governor to Kwankwaso on the two occasions that he was governor of Kano State. I say on two occasions because he was not governor for 8 years consecutively. He was governor for 4 years, and then Ibrahim Shekarau defeated him. Ibrahim Shekarau was in office for 8 years, and then Kwankwaso came back to power 8 years after. That is after the tenure of Ibrahim Shekarau. So he still brought back Ganduje. Today, they don't see eye to eye. They are doing everything possible to destroy one another. I do not envisage the possibility of someone resolving the political quarrel between Maga Takada Wamako, the former governor of Sokoto State, and his former boss, Atahiru Bafarawa. In 1999, Atahiru Bafarawa won election, became governor of Sokoto State. Maga Takada Wamako was his deputy. It was a frosty relationship all through. It still remains a mystery that he was not impeached, or his impeachment was not impeached by his boss, Bafarawa. But they fell out in the year 2007, and Wamako defected from PDP to go and contest in the APC, and he won election as governor and spent 8 years. Today, they do not see eye to eye. There are many relationships like that, many political relationships like that that are broken down totally. You know, I've heard someone say, as long as Tinubu is in APC, I will never join the APC. So these things happen. The relationship between Wike and Fubara has collapsed irretrievably. And I felt that the initial turning point was when Wike began to attack Fubara during his media chats. Invariably, Fubara got fed up and decided to fight back. He decided to also verbally assault him and went as far as saying that he will probe the administration of Wike. He also went as far as saying that Wike did not pay some of the contractors that helped execute projects in the state. He gave the impression that Wike ran a government that was not transparent. Yet, he was part of that government as Accountant General of the state, as the DG Finance in the government house. So when I heard Fubara say that the rats that used to eat the gari, that they've used or tapiapia against him, I knew clearly he was referring to Wike. And I knew at that point that this would be difficult for Wike to take. He didn't stop there. He also used those famous words like Jongu don't mature. That is the language of somebody ready for a fight. And he has shown the FCT minister that he's ready for a fight. He's not ready to give in. And, you know, at this stage, with the president having intervened and achieved nothing from his intervention, who else can bring the warring parties together? Who else? As far as Wike is concerned, the political leaders in the state have taken side. Leaders in the PDP have taken side. So who else can resolve this dispute? There are some disputes that the gladiators deliberately make sure that they don't get resolved. Because if they get resolved, it may not totally favor them. For example, a political godson would say, look, it prefers, it's better for me to continue to fight this man than have this matter resolved, which will now subordinate me to him. Fubara is enjoying political freedom at this time, without looking back and thinking that he has a godfather that he has to cow to, that he has to make happy by making all kinds of confessions. Powers are concentrated in him now. If there are appointments to be made, he's making those appointments without referring to his godfather. I believe that this is a kind of situation that Fubara is enjoying currently, and even Fubara himself would really not want peace at this time, because he is not bothered, and election is not in the horizon, so he's not bothered about a quick resolution of their quarrel. And I can tell you, even if Wike promises to forgive, it may not come from the depth of his heart. It may not come from the bottom of his heart. This is the way politicians are. They always want to punish you for disloyalty, for letting them down, and for betraying them. As far as he's concerned, having brought Fubara from nowhere and made him governor, Fubara has turned against him, and he is already thinking of how to punish him politically. He said some time ago that he made a mistake and that at the appropriate time he will correct that mistake. But I listened to him yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, saying that he would that he had no regret deciding that Fubara should be the governor of the state. But I know in his heart he was lying. He's full of regrets, especially now that a man that he thought was tongue-tied, a man that he thought was extremely gentle, a man that he thought could not hurt a fly, has now turned against him, has been moving to dismantle his political empire bit by bit, and has been doing his best to diminish him in terms of his standing politically. So this is where we are. And when you look at the PDP making efforts at this time to reconcile, as far as Wike is concerned, those guys would rather pitch their camp with the governor. So he knows that at this time, reconciliation is not feasible. The governor is enjoying using 3 persons to run the House of Assembly.
That's right.
This is an unwholesome situation. And I also think that Wike believes that the judiciary will resolve these matters sooner than later. So, especially the matter of whether those assembly members have lost their seats. Only the courts can determine whether someone has lost his seat or not. And I think he's confident that the matter will be resolved in favor of those lawmakers, because for now they are not listed in the register of APC as APC members. They have not officially joined the APC at ward level, which is the accepted means or way of joining a party. You go and join at the ward level. They've not joined at the ward level. They merely proclaim that they are joined the party verbally, but they didn't take steps to concretize their defection to the party. And in the eyes of the law, at this time, Wike is confident that they have not defected. So I guess he believes that these matters, especially the ridiculous matter of 3 persons constituting the House of Assembly, will be resolved in his favor. So he would rather wait and see what the court decides, rather than trying to make peace with Fubara. So I think this is where we are on this matter. Both men do not really want this matter to end. They don't want peace.
That's right.
If anyone tells you that Fubara is keen to reconcile with Wike, that person is a liar. If anyone says Wike wants to make peace at this time, that person is a liar. Wike is going to do his best to undermine the governor and make sure the governor does not get re-elected. You know, he's that kind of person.
I think there is more salt added to the injury, because if you look at the political feud between Messrs. Fubara and Wike, you know, it has actually split both Rivers House of Assembly and the ruling PDP in the state into 2 factions, with each faction loyal to either of the leaders. But the PDP Governors Forum threw its weight behind Governor Similaye Fubara of Rivers State, urging the NWC of the party to accord the governor his rightful position as a leader of the party in the state. How significant is this to the ongoing strife between the belligerent camps?
Yes, the worst thing that the PDP can do to itself at this time is to willy-nilly lose a governor And there were talks and suspicions that the governor wanted to join a political party called the APP. Immediately after that rumor broke, the PDP leaders went to see the governor to try and let him know that they have no intention of losing him and that he has their support. So, and the BOT of the party, led by Senator Adolphus Fubara, also went to see the governor. So, I think they know what it means to lose a sitting governor in a critical state like Rivers State with all the resources at his disposal and all that. So I'm not surprised that they went to see him. But it doesn't also mean that Wike has lost out in the political games in the PDP. The political games in the PDP has pitched Wike and governors friendly with him against Atiku, Abubakar Atiku, who would want to contest again. Someone has said only God can stop Atiku from contesting again for the presidency. Atiku is carrying on as if the PDP was created for him. Look at how many times he has contested for president. There are younger people in the party who can also do a good job, if they were given a chance to fly the kite of the party, contest for the presidency. So there are young people who are prepared to challenge Atiku at this time, and Wike is the arrowhead of that group. So as long as Atiku retains his desire to contest the presidency again through the PDP, and Wike remains in the PDP, Atiku will get the opposition. Atiku will be challenged by elements loyal to Wike, elements who have always rallied around Wike. And given his performance during the presidential primaries of the PDP 2022, yes, and given the resources at his disposal that he has used liberally to help the party stay relevant, no one should dismiss the chances of Wike remaining relevant in the PDP and trying to constitute the stumbling block to Atiku's desire to contest again. And for Atiku to point at Abraham Lincoln, the 15th American president, as having contested about 7 times, it shows the size of his ambition. It shows that despite the setbacks that he has suffered over the years, dating back to the early 90s, he's prepared yet again to throw his hat in the ring and contest for the presidency of our country through the PDP. But I can assure you, people like Wike and some governors who are friendly with him will do their best to ensure that Atiku does not get the ticket.
Right. Even Body George also said that he's not going to support Atiku even if he decides to run for the next election, because he also believes that that's one of the problems the PDP is facing, and that the country would have been worse off if Atiku was the president. I'm not sure whether you also saw that message.
Yes, I saw it. I saw it. The situation that we found ourselves is not an easy one. A country insolvent, a country terribly broke, to the point that we were borrowing money, not just to execute our budget, but borrowing money to pay for subsidies. That's not a situation that any country wants to find itself.
That's right.
Yes, the floating of the naira made matters worse, but it is on record that all of the presidential candidates said that they were going to remove subsidy. So none of them who has conscience should be telling us today that removal of subsidy was wrong and all that. We had them quoted saying that remove subsidy. In fact, Peter Obi described subsidy as an organized crime in our country, and he said he will remove it. Now we removed it, and it has inflicted so much pain on our people. It has driven up prices of goods and services, and at this time, if we were to stick with total removal of subsidy without trying to cushion the effect, we will be buying petrol at about 1,350 naira per litre. But the NNPC and the government have found a way to subsidize the product, and there are many ingenious ways by which they are doing it, without having to take money that normally should go to the federation account to pay for subsidy. So that is where we find ourselves. Anybody coming in as a president will find the first few years extremely challenging. And I recall that former CBN governor Sanusi said the same thing. He said that he pitied anybody coming into office as president, and that if anybody told you that it would be easy, do not listen to them. Such people are liars, and they're just trying to get people's votes. He predicted that things will be tough for the incoming government, and that is what we have seen. Because I, as a person, as much as I want Nigerians to enjoy subsidy, I cannot encourage a situation in which we will be borrowing money simply to pay for subsidy. Debt to revenue ratio in our country was extremely negative. We were spending about 97% of our revenue to service debt, which means the country is insolvent. Which means the country was broke. So, but today, that ratio is now in the region of 67% rather than 97%. That is talking about the debt to revenue ratio. We have improved in the area of revenue generation, but Nigerians are still going through a lot. Nigerians are starving. Food prices are going up. Prices of virtually everything is going up because our currency has declined rapidly. The value of our currency has declined rapidly. The best that this government can do is to shore up the value of the naira. If it does not shore up the value of the naira, some of the efforts that it is taking and some of the gains that it thinks it is making will be wiped off before our eyes. Will be wiped off before our eyes. So they must do their best to strengthen the naira because it is affecting everything and wiping out some of the gains that the government has made.
Absolutely. Right, let me take some comments. We have the first here. Banji Okesoto says, Fubara won't be able to escape the rain of consequences for long, and soon it will be running for cover. It should ask Shuaibu and Obaseki. Lawal Kadiri says, Jide, the main bone of contention is Fubara to represent the budget, and it should allow courts to pronounce the House of Assembly seat vacant. Also, we have other comments. Orebanjo saying BKO did not mention that they swore an affidavit. So many other comments that are actually distracting here, not basically on the subject matter. And that's what we've always said, that the comment should be based on the subject matter. Nelson Adufe says, it's not compulsory for mending fence between Wike and Fubara, as bridges Bridges have been burnt while both parties drag soft issues and Fubara fails to respect leadership. But there should be peace in rivers. I guess he's advocating the overall, peace in River State. But then, what do you think can be done to untangle the locked horns between Mr. Wike and Fubara? The FCT minister believes that he did everything, just like you said, to make Mr. Fubara the River State governor. Do you think if Governor Fubara retraces his steps and apologizes to Nyesom Wike, then and only then would there be peace?
I do not see that happening. A lot of Wike's enemies and former godfathers like Governor Peter Odili and his wife Mary, they are now behind Governor Fubara. Powerful people. They may not necessarily be very strong politically. People like Babajide Clark, those ones will not allow Fubara to apologize. They have been supporting him and they will continue to support him. So, and there are people who believe that all Wike is doing is just trying to seize power. Wike is too overbearing and full of himself. Now that they found someone who has decided to stand up to him, they are going to back that person all the way. They are going to encourage that person to not have anything to do with Wike, to not make peace with him. Except if it becomes obvious that, especially through the courts, if he loses the multiple cases, the more than 30 something cases that have been instituted before the courts, the assembly can be used to whip him into line. But that can only happen if the courts affirm that those guys have not left the party. I had someone say that those guys signed an affidavit. See, let us always stick with what the law says. The law does not say you can join a party through an affidavit. The way by which you can join a party is outlined. And I think a court gave a judgment recently, even on that. But because it did not have the jurisdiction, but the judge still went on the matter of whether those guys had validly left the party. How you can leave a party, how you can join a party is already stated. You are supposed to officially join a party, go to the ward, register to be members of that party. As we speak today, they are not registered members of the APC. And their names have not been struck out of the PDP register. So the courts do not reason the way we reason. When there is a logjam, the courts have to make a decision. And judges don't simply reason the way we reason. They don't allow themselves to be overwhelmed by emotions. They will simply look at what the law says, how the law says you can join a party. Any other thing that you did outside of how the law says that you can officially join a party to be a valid member of that party, the courts will not entertain. Forget what Ugochinyere is saying. Is it not the same way that some people told us that that the Federal High Court does not have jurisdiction on chieftaincy matters? But Federal High Court, as I've said repeatedly, can assume jurisdiction on chieftaincy matters if the applicant is asking for the enforcement of his right. It is there. That's what the law says. And that was why Sanusi went before a Federal High Court to demand that Governor Ganduje's decision to banish him to Toto in Nasarawa State should be overturned. And the Federal High Court overturned it. So to simply come on TV and be saying, no, Federal High Court does not have jurisdiction on chieftaincy matters is wrong. There are conditions that are stipulated in the Constitution that shows how it can exercise jurisdiction on a chieftaincy matter, and it has to do with the enforcement of human rights. So if the applicant is asking for enforcement of his human rights in a chieftaincy matter, the Federal High Court can entertain the matter. So this is the thing. The courts do not reason the way we reason, or because one lawmaker said, "Oh, look at this is the affidavit that they signed and all that." The courts will follow what the law says. If the law does not say you can join a party through an affidavit, the court will not say, yes, you have left the party. So this is the thing. This is the thing. I am more focused on what the law says. What does the law say? I don't deceive myself, and I don't get emotional about this thing. That's why I've been able to predict even the way judgment will go on so many occasions, because I focus on what the law says. Many of the lawyers coming on TV to talk, some of them have been paid. They just come, and deceive us, and go. Because they've taken sides. You can imagine a lawyer telling us that a clerical error made in the certified true copy of the appeal court judgment in respect of the Kano governorship tussle was the judgment of the court. And I said at that time, I said, okay, if they are saying that is the judgment of the court, let us see. They should not appeal. Let Olanipekun not appeal, and let us see what will happen. Olanipekun promptly appealed within a matter of hours. Whereas a lawyer came on TV and was telling Nigeria that error, with that error, it means that the judgment, that is the judgment. What the judges said in open court was different from the clerical error that was made in the certified true copy. You are now telling Nigerians that error will stand. Whereas it was completely different to what was said in open court. I said, okay, let us see whether they will not appeal. If they don't appeal, the governor has lost his seat. Olanipekun didn't waste time. He quickly appealed. He's not a fool. So we cannot believe everything that some lawyers come on TV to tell us. Some are paid to simply come and deceive Nigerians.
That's right. Absolutely. So many things, based on people's, the way they see it, either via sentiment or not, they will always take a side. But then, BK, because of our time, we've actually run out of time. And before we call it a wrap, I think my producer wants me to call your attention to absolutely what you know. Says that it's a season and your club seems to be on the losing streak. Do you have confidence? Are you confident of any?
What do you mean by on the losing streak? The team won a match. The team won a match. The team won a match last week and lost its next match. That's not what you call a losing streak. You lost a match. That's not a streak. It is when it is back to back that you can be talking of a streak. And these are early days.
That's right.
The fact that you lost a match does not mean that you cannot bounce back. These are early days. So after all, Chelsea started the competition by losing his first match. At least we didn't lose our first match. We only lost the second, and we'll bounce back. Although something appears to be wrong with the coach, but I don't want to abuse our coach because a lot of our enemies are watching. So I will not abuse our coach before our enemies and traducers. So that is, we'll bounce back. We'll certainly bounce back. And when we bounce back, you will all see.
Optimism, is very good to be optimistic about, especially when you believe in something and then you back it up with, let's say fact. We'll see that play out at the end of the day. That's our show for today's edition.
You are allowed to be optimistic too. Everyone is allowed to be optimistic. We see politicians who will never win an election telling their supporters that they will win.
Absolutely.
And supporters
Absolutely.
start calling them excellency, excellency. When they know that he cannot even win his word, they'll be calling him excellency, excellency. He too will be answering, you know. So uh, optimism is free.
That's right. So let everyone bask in it. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. God bless you. Reach my baby.
Thank you. And thanks to you too, our audience, for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.